Hello, my name is also Badruddinova, and this is a short presentation for the research that I've done for the class of the Introduction to Research in Applied Linguistics. So, first of all, the topic of my research is the compliance of official debate regulations with the implementation of debates in EFL classrooms in Kazakhstani context. So this is a short outline. So I will start with the purpose of the debate, its significance, then I will mention the research questions that I was seeking to answer. Afterwards, I will give a short insight to the literature review. Then I will mention mention and discuss the research methods and instruments that I've used. After that, I will describe the choice of participants, how it was made and why. Then the aspects that somehow and unfortunately limited the research, and the discussion of results and findings will be after that, and I will finish the presentation by concluding and analyzing what I have found and what the study has demonstrated. So first of all, the purpose of this study is to identify the attitudes of debate and non-debate students to using formal discussion as an EFL classroom activity. So debate and non-debates are involved, because this is important here, as I will be comparing the results given by the two groups. So the significance of this study is that debates are being practiced in schools and universities worldwide to develop students' critical thinking, research, and oratory skills. In Kazakhstan, is mostly falling behind, as the concept of debates is either unknown to the majority of the population or perceived incorrectly. So I have these three research questions that are written here. So the first one is, what are the perceptions of debate students to debate as an EFL classroom activity? So this second question is aiming at identifying the same aspect but with non-debate students. So the third question is, to what extent do EFL classroom debates comply with official debate regulations? So this third question is closely related to the first two, because it is partially based on the answer to the first two research questions. So these are the main aspects of my literature review. So first of all, it is the concept of debates and the international formats. So as the literature review demonstrated, and as National Speech and Debate Association shows, debates are widely used as an educational tool, as a powerful teaching strategy. So as such a researcher as Stewart mentioned, that his students mentioned many times that debate was their most favorite activity in their English classes. Another scholar, whose name is Krüger, mentioned that debate managed to develop the four main language skills simultaneously. And on top of that, many other scholars, other than these two, that were not even mentioned in literature review, always talk about the benefit of debates in the education. So on top of that, there is foreign experience of debates as an in-class activity. So as it was mentioned before, debates are always seen as a powerful teaching tool, because they develop many different skills at the same time. So the third aspect, and the one that was meant to be the most important one, is the implementation of debates in Kazakhstani EFL classrooms. So unfortunately, there were no studies found for this aspect, as it seems to be that debates are not really popular in Kazakhstan, and they're especially not popular as an activity in EFL classrooms. This is the reason why the research was aiming to find the flows and the certain peculiarities of debates in Kazakhstani context. So this is the quantitative research, because I was looking for numerical data. I was looking for information that could be generalized. So this is the reason why open-ended questions were also considered a part of quantitative research, because I was trying to find general information, general ideas students give. So it was not really aimed at something specific. It was not aimed at specific opinions. This quantitative research was aimed at finding common opinions, a common pattern of opinions given by students. So in order to do so, I was looking for generalizing. I was trying to generalize the information given by the participants. So the platform used was Google Forms, is usually easy and familiar for the majority of participants. And on top of that, the questionnaire was designed specifically for the current situation, as I did not really have the chance to choose the participants myself because of the current situation in the world. So some questions of the questionnaire, all of the questions basically, were focusing on getting accurate data that will contribute to different aspects of the study, and that would contribute to answering the research questions. So the main criteria for participation was having different degree of experience with debate as an EFL classroom activity. So in the very beginning of the research, there was a question that asked the participant whether they had the experience or not. So in case they did not have the experience, the form was submitted automatically and the questionnaire was over for them. But in case they had the experience, the questionnaire was continuing. So this is how I was looking for accurate data, and this is how I was looking for people who could actually contribute to the study. So on top of that, as I was seeking to compare the opinions of debate and non-debate students, one of the questions asked them for the additional background in debate. So at this point, the Google form also divided into two sections. So the questions were the same, but this idea gave me the opportunity to have the answers into different columns, into different parts. So I had the opportunity to compare them. So same as any other research, this one had its limitations. So because of the state of emergency, it was difficult to reach the participants. As I mentioned before, I could not choose the participants myself. So I was trying to design the question in such a specific way that would make the data collected as accurate and as appropriate as possible. So initially the research was supposed to be mixed, but the interviews I was planning to be conducted could not happen because the majority of people that were willing to contribute in the beginning ended up having to cancel because of their personal issues that they had due to the state of emergency and the quarantine. So the study has demonstrated various findings, and talking about the research questions themselves, surprisingly demonstrated that both debate and non-debate students shared very, very similar views, and they shared very similar perceptions of debates as an EFL classroom activity. And they also said that they were actually very similar to the actual concept of debates. But all these findings ended up being not as important as the answer to one of the questions. So one of the questions to both debaters and non-debaters was what they would choose about classroom debates. And these 5 answers as the most common answers given by the 37 participants. So both debaters and non-debaters gave very similar answers to this question, which was also surprising. So these 5 questions follow the same pattern. So the students want more trainings, they want more tutorials, they want to know what debate is, what debate actually is, how to debate properly, and how to make the best of their debating experience. So we as educators, as instructors, as teachers, have to make a certain conclusion out of this. Because if students are willing to debate, if students are willing to learn more about debating and how to debate properly, we need to use this as an opportunity to develop so many of their skills simultaneously and actually prepare them for the future instead of just trying to teach not really authentic information. So as long as students are interested, and as long as so many studies demonstrate how debates can be a positive influence to the whole process of education, we need to see this as a great opportunity to make the whole system of education in Kazakhstan better and more important and more beneficial for our students. So in conclusion, I'd like to say that unfortunately, Kazakhstani debate and world debate are completely different, because people, the students, the teachers in our country do not usually have the proper understanding of the concept of debate. So I guess it is the mission of people who know what it is to share it properly, because it can contribute not only to the debate society of Kazakhstan, but to the whole system of education of our country. So to be honest, this research has given more questions than answers, and it has given more ideas, plenty of ideas for further research. So I hope I'll be able to conduct further research on this topic, and I'm sure I will have to focus on the Kazakhstani context, on the debates in Kazakhstani context, because this has to be investigated more deeply. And obviously, throughout the whole research, I've made an analysis and I've understood what mistakes I've made. So the biggest one must be the design of research, because it must have needed to be more detailed, but at the same time, it creates a dilemma, because I was trying to make the questionnaire as easy as possible and less time consuming for the participants. So it creates a certain dilemma of what I actually want and what I can do. So I hope that when I conduct more research on in the similar area in the future, there would be less limitations, and I'd be able to actually choose people who can contribute to the study well. So these are the references that I used. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was at least partially informative. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.